Hello, I am Mistled, and this is The Raven, Legacy of a Master Thief. This is Chapter 2, the second out of 3 chapters. This one is called Ancestry of Lies. And I want to go into something first. So my first thought of this game was that it was like $20 when I got it, and that was Chapter 1. So I purchased it, and it was, 3-4 hours, however long it was. And I thought, that's pretty good. I thought each chapter was a whole separate purchase. So, 3 hours for one was $20, kind of stretching it, but still, that's 9 or 10 hours for the full game at $20 a piece. That's about $60. I'm fine with that. BioShock Infinite was the same length, and I was fine with that price. So I got home today. This came out today when I'm recording this. I got home, went on Steam, and looked for Part 2, Chapter 2 of The Raven. And I didn't see it on the homepage, didn't see it in new releases. Went to the game community section to see what was going on, because I knew it released today. And saw a post saying, hey, Chapter 2, out today. Went in there, saw a link, clicked on it, and it took me to the regular store page, which of course said, you already own The Raven. So I thought that was kind of strange. I opened up Steam and looked around, my Steam client that is, and noticed I had a download, and I had a 2 gig download. Alright, that's interesting. So I loaded the game up and went to New Game, and wouldn't you know it, there's Chapter 2. So apparently I was completely mistaken. When you buy The Raven off of Steam, you're buying all 3 chapters at one time. You just get Chapter 2 a month after Chapter 1, or now if you buy it now, and Chapter 3 a month after that. So the whole thing is $20 or $25. I might have bought it on sale for $20 at the time. I believe it was $24.99 American at the time. I'm not sure what the euros and such are. Hopefully they priced it well. That is suddenly a much better value. I was already happy with the value, but that is much better. You are now getting a more full-fledged game than you might have thought for your $25, as it were. So anyway, enough of that. That's just a happy little thing I found today. Quick recap of where we left off. Not of the full plot. If you forgot everything that's going on or you haven't seen it, either go play the first chapter of the game or go back and watch my other playlist of this series so you know what's happening. But I will recap the end so that you can, because I'm assuming Chapter 2 will jump off into that, and it will be important to have that fresh in our minds. And I'll put an annotation up, hopefully, so you can skip this if you do remember or you just watched it. You're coming straight from that last video. So where we are is we're on the cruise ship, and if you remember, we were out on the deck of the cruise ship and we heard a gunshot from the Baroness's bedroom. And we went to her room, and the doctor was with us, and he kicked down the door. And he rushed inside, and he checked her pulse and declared her dead, and there was a pool of blood underneath her body. And we were drugged earlier, so we passed out shortly thereafter, and we of course did not get to investigate until everybody else had already done so. In our investigation, we discovered several things. We discovered that the gunshot was faked. There was a recording, and so the gunshot we heard was not what killed her. It was probably an alibi for, to give the killer an alibi so that we would all say, well, we know the gunshot was here, we all heard it, and so is right beside us, right? Whoever it may be. When that's not when she died. But we also found a pillowcase that looked like it had gunpowder residue on it, which would imply that she was shot. She was just shot earlier. And perhaps it was a muffled shot, so she died earlier, and then the gunshot was later just for an alibi. But we also found out that the blood that was under her was fake. It was not real blood. So that implies maybe she wasn't shot. Was she even dead? We did not examine her body when we were in the medical room in our chance to investigate that area where we found out that the blood was fake. We also found gloves that had the fake blood on them in the doctor's trash can to show that he probably planted it there. We also found the gunshot tape in his medical area, saying he's probably responsible for that. It does lead to the question of, assuming she is dead, since we didn't examine her body, was she poisoned? Was she not shot? Or was she shot somewhere else? So the blood that we could find is really elsewhere in the ship, and then she was moved to her room. That last thing's a little unlikely because her cabin is up on the top floor where everybody travels through, so getting her body in and out of that room seems iffy to me. But perhaps she was poisoned and the gunshot was just there to stop investigation. We don't know. At the very end of chapter 1, we discovered that the doctor needed to answer something. We got questions. We found this fake blood. We found this gunshot recording. Found all these things. I mean, went to walk out the door to go talk to Inspector Legrand. And as soon as we open the door, the doctor grabs us and tries to muffle us. Now, was he trying to strangle us? Was he trying to chloroform us? Was he simply trying to prevent us from crying out so that he could then explain what was going on? We don't know. That's where we left it. And we might pick it up there, or we might pick it up somewhere completely different. I have no idea. So let us get started on chapter 2. Start game. Well, that doesn't look good, does it? That does not look good. We are in a wheelchair, strapped down to it, apparently, with the doctor ready to do something awful to us.
Why couldn't you just leave it be? Let me go. Why are you doing this to me? You and the Baroness. Dr. Gebhardt, I don't know. Don't you understand what you are forcing me to do? You don't have to. It is almost over. You won't feel a thing. I am sorry you have to see all this. I should have used more chloroform.
Well, I'm glad you didn't, so that I can be awake and stop your crazy self. What do we have? Some straps. There's no way we can unfasten those, correct? Correct. Got a bowl and a bottle. Sure, I can reach nothing over there. Footrest up and talk. Was something over here that I just went past quickly? No. Let us talk to the awful, awful doctor.
Distract him.
That's right, let's distract him. That's why his evil plan.
And what next? Heart failure happens a lot at your age, especially given your background. I am still considering whether I should throw you overboard. Don't leave evidence. No evidence. But what if I'm seen? My plan was perfect. And then you ruined everything!
I didn't ruin anything. Well, okay, I did, but I don't know what I was ruining. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to help. Help me, please.
Talking.
Yeah, keep talking. That'll help me somehow, I guess. Why'd you kill the Baroness?
Why did the Baroness have to snoop around? Why did you have to snoop around? And that glove there. You want to plant evidence on me, yeah? I left no evidence. There is no trail. And yet you can't just leave me in peace, can you?
Did he just imply that he didn't leave any evidence? We found that glove in his trash can back here, right? That with all it had the fake blood in it, like it looked like it burst. I wonder if there's something there that we should not be missing. Maybe he didn't actually do that part? I don't know. That seems kind of strange. Let us put this footrest up. That'll probably let us move forward, closer to this stuff.
Chloroform.
Chloroform in a bottle.
Hardly known.
Of course you are. Your vision's red and orange. Sure, we can't take that. Let's search this bowl.
A pair of scissors.
Alright, so can we take this and like roll back over here? There we go. Alright. Just take our scissors and see if we can cut our way out. This is probably not going to be pretty. Now take the chloroform maybe? Nope, that didn't work. Hi there, non-drugged person. Oh man. Oh dear.
Easy, Mr. Zellner. You will only hurt yourself.
Well, you're about to kill me, so I'm not too concerned. No, it's... Use syringe.
No, please.
Move faster, Zellner. Get it.
It's almost over.
How are you going to explain the dead body? Well, I guess heart attack. How are you going to explain it if you throw me off the boat? Oh, right in the jaw.
I will.
Right in the jaw. You will do nothing. You will pass out and die. There you go. Did we just ask if he's okay? I hope not. I hope he's not okay. I hope he's not okay.
Thanks.
A wet towel works miracles. I told you so.
Out with it then. What were you doing down there?
Inspector, at least let the constable recover his breath.
He almost killed himself.
Me? No. Dr. Gebhardt
Where'd you
would have
find
taken
me?
care of that for me. Where is he?
Gebhardt? He's vanished without a trace. We're searching the ship from top to bottom.
One at a time. Tell me, Zellner, what did you find out?
Dr. Gebhardt killed Baroness von Trebitz.
Impossible.
Do you have proof?
Besides the fact that he wanted to kill me?
But wasn't the doctor with you when the shot was fired?
Wait, let's back up. Where'd you find me at that you think I was going to get myself killed somehow? What, did you find me with a needle and thought I was shooting up something? Legrand, you are a punk, and I don't like you. And if you are not somehow involved in all of this, I'm going to be very disappointed. Alright, this shot was a distraction, so we're trying to answer Agatha here. The shot came from a tape. We found that last time.
Heard was a recording. The Baroness had a tape recorder and good speakers in her cabin. Good enough to make the noise audible on the upper deck.
Is that just your suspicion, or do you have proof?
I will punch you in the face.
There's an audio tape in the medical center. The reel belongs to the tape player in the Baroness's cabin. And there's a sibling reel in her cabin that belongs to the recorder in the medical center. After a few minutes, there's a loud bang on the audio tape. That's our gunshot.
Where did Gebhardt get it from?
He recorded it in the cargo hold. His tape recorder has a microphone, and I removed a bullet from one of the boxes down there.
And it came from the murder weapon?
Yes, I compared it to the other bullet in the inspector's cabin.
Of course you did. All right.
What's the inspector's problem?
Inspector Legrand!
Let's pretend you're onto something. The shot we heard was just a recording. What happened next?
We all ran to the Baroness's cabin. She lay comatose in a pool of blood. Dr. Gebhardt pushed past you so that you couldn't get too close to the Baroness. He examined her and pronounced her dead. There was no reason for us to doubt him. The The shot, the blood, the Baroness lying there lifelessly. But she was only unconscious, knocked out by the chloral hydrate that the doctor had poured into her glass shortly before.
The doctor had a glass in his hand when you came in.
He wanted to remove the evidence, but you gave me the glass instead, Captain de Conti, and unintentionally knocked me out as well.
Nonsense. There was blood everywhere. And the Baroness is certainly dead enough, isn't she?
Then who did shoot her? And when?
Alright, so the idea now is the Baroness was poisoned, the gunshot went off, the doctor rushed in, pronounces her dead, we pass out. So let's say while he was examining her at the crime scene is when he did it, because somehow he got Legrand to leave for a little bit. Let's roll with that.
As I already said, it was Dr. Gebhardt. He shot the sleeping Baroness in her cabin, barely 10 meters away from us.
What are you saying?
The doctor was alone in the cabin for a while. When the alarm went off, it was deafening. I couldn't even hear myself.
And I found a pillow with burn marks. Could have been used to muffle a gunshot.
And the blood?
The blood wasn't real. Dr. Gebhardt mixed up a liquid that looked like fresh blood to the casual observer. But the liquid remained red instead of becoming darker and browner from exposure to the air. That meant he had to clean the body and get rid of the bedding.
But the blood was already there when we first entered the cabin.
Dr. Gebhardt was in the Baroness's cabin before the murder. He hid a surgical glove full of the red liquid under her sheet. The Baroness, dead tired, fell onto her bed, the glove burst, and the blood spread across the bed. I found the burst glove in the medical center.
But why did he do it? What was his motive?
Inspector?
Blackmail, we don't know that. The Sphinx, we don't know that either. Yeah, let's do this.
I can only speculate.
That seems
The
honest.
Baroness spent the day rummaging through her old family photos.
Oh, yeah.
And in her diary, she wrote about deceased family members. I suspect it had something to do with their fates during the war. The Baroness wrote a warning on her notepad. There is a murderer on board. I don't have proof, but I believe that the Baroness held Dr. Gebhardt responsible for the deaths of her relatives and wanted to confront him in front of all of us. The doctor couldn't allow that to happen, and so he silenced her.
No.
Do you have anything to contribute, Constable?
Only nonsense, I'm sure.
Confession, sir.
Fake confession. You can't have a real confession 10 minutes into the second chapter.
Let's do everything.
What does it say?
Lies.
It says, do you still remember, my dear Nico? The streets were wet with rain and the scent of roasted barley and fermenting yeast wafted over to us from the brewery. A dog barked until your shot struck down the innocent one. After that silence, not a single sound except for my soft steps fading on the wet cobblestone street. They made a hero of you, and I, at last, found peace. At least until the urge returned. Some of us are not made for retirement, my friend. I thought they would assign this case to you, and that thought pleased me. We'd finally find out who was truly the better man. And it pains me now to have to admit that you and your little gumshoe got the better of me. You drove me into a corner, forced me to make mistakes. I congratulate you on your triumph, but no one will confine the raven to a cage. There is but one way out, and that is by my own hand. Farewell, Raven Hunter. R.
Inspector Legrand.
Well, that was obviously fake. All of it. We know that the Raven doesn't kill people. We do from the first game. But this Raven does. He's obviously not the real Raven. Even if he's working with the real Raven. Or she. I don't know.
I was right. I told them all, over and over again. But no one would listen.
Why are you so sure?
You think that Dr. Gebhardt was really the Raven?
The things Gebhardt describes in his letter aren't part of any police report. Only someone who was there would know them.
Couldn't there have been others involved? One of the police, for instance. What if one of them changed sides?
Why is it so hard for you to accept the simple truth? There was never a new Raven. There was only ever the old one. And that was Dr. Gebhardt.
The modus operandi doesn't match. The
Right.
Raven was not a killer.
Legends are rarely what they seem to be, Constable Zellner.
Do you have proof that the Raven was a killer, or are you just making crap up again? So here's the bigger problem. The doctor was not killing the Baroness or Zellner because of any of the jewels or anything. He was doing it, from what it sounds like, because the Baroness was going to confront him about some deaths years ago. That's not even related. This is wholly unrelated. And then because this letter shows up, suddenly we think, oh yeah, it must be related because the thief faked a letter and signed it the random guy's name. Okay, that's not. I am not convinced. This guy is, our inspector is too happy to claim that everything's over, so everybody puts their guard down. So I think he is either in on it, or he needs some psych help. Either one of the two. Not real sure which yet. I kind of want him to be in on it though, because I don't like him. That's no facts, no logic behind that. I just don't like him. I think he's a jerk. So, anywho, the letter.
What about the handwriting, the wording? Does the farewell letter match the Raven's other letters?
Yes, it's his handwriting, his words. I've read all the Raven's letters, all of them, over and over again.
I never thought it was possible. A resurrected Raven.
The Raven was never dead. I shot the wrong man.
But that man had the stolen goods, didn't he? So he must have been in league with the Raven. One could hardly call him innocent.
That's a good point.
Then who was the man who was killed back then?
William Jackson, a petty thief, committed some burglaries together with his brother. Talented, but not world-class.
And they thought he was the Raven.
Some people thought it was part of his disguise. If you're a debonair master thief, what better disguise than pretending to be a common crook? From time to time you let them catch you pulling small jobs, and no one ever imagines you're capable of a major heist.
But you didn't believe it.
I had my doubts, but everyone congratulated me and those doubts were pushed aside. It was like being caught in a storm, but eventually the storm passed and my doubts were still there.
But not this time? No doubts telling you that Gebhardt isn't our man?
It must be him.
Where do we go from here?
Why must it be him?
I and then I'll contact Paris. A task force will compare all of Gebhardt's known residences with the Raven's activity.
And if there are any inconsistencies?
You're welcome to keep an eye on the safe if you can't let it go. The ship will remain in Cairo for 1 day. That's all the time you'll have to catch your own Raven. I already have mine.
Notice he doesn't already have the Raven. He's got his Raven that's convenient for him and the story he is telling. Just saying. Just saying. Welcome to Cairo. And some new character.
You're one of Legrand's men, aren't you?
Absolutely
My name
not.
is Anton Jakob Zellner.
You've come just in time. Grace, my dachshund is missing.
I don't care.
There may be more important matters for me to attend to, Mr.
Director Abbas Mokhtar. And Grace, isn't just a common dog. She's a purebred German dachshund, a champion.
Still don't care. Still don't care. Alright, so this, the purpose of your entire exhibit.
So, the exhibition will still open tonight.
But of course, everything has been arranged. The final preparations are almost complete.
But one of the two exhibits won't be there.
A terrible loss, a tragedy. That irreplaceable Egyptian cultural treasure has been stolen for the second time.
The second time?
What? Did you really believe that the eye of the Sphinx was found lying on the banks of the Thames?
What can you tell me about the museum's security system?
One of the best on the market. And the second eye will still be exhibited in our special treasure chamber, which is extra secure.
Treasure chamber?
See for yourself, to the right of the entrance.
We will do
The
that.
eye is as safe as the British crown jewels.
Didn't Moriarty or somebody steal those already, like last year? Just, I know, wrong world, different decade, still. Pretty sure those were shown to not be secure.
Inspector Legrand, Professor Lucien, and Constable Oliver are overseeing the transportation of the safe. They should be here at any moment. I'll have a look around in the meantime.
Do you think that's necessary? The Raven is dead, after all.
If you mean Dr. Gebhardt, his body was never recovered. Nor the stolen eye of the Sphinx, for that matter.
It does us a great honor that the inspector is concerned about us. But we have everything under control.
Legrand isn't as concerned as he should be. But I am. Is the museum closed?
Yes. Only carefully selected guests may enter the museum during preparations for the gala. And of course, you're one of them, Mr. Constable.
I think I'll have a look around the museum.
Please do. There's a lot to see. And you let me know if you see Grace, won't you? I hope we find her before the great inspector arrives.
Great inspector, my butt.
How he solved the murder on the ship.
Legrand?
He did what?
Of course, it's in all the newspapers. The murder of the wealthy Baroness von Trebitz, and how the great Inspector Legrand identified the murderer in just one day.
Who told that story?
Legends are made of. You should count yourself lucky to have the chance to learn from him.
Learn from him. He's not teaching anything but except how to mope. Except, do I want to say this? Yeah, I do.
What exactly do the
What
newspapers say?
rubbish? That's what you're going to say.
It's fantastic. Someone on board must have informed the press immediately. Of course, it's a great advertising for us. The reporters will queue up tonight.
And it was reported that Legrand found the murderer.
Of course! Who else?
Well, I wasn't exactly uninvolved.
Of course. Legrand surely has assistants, but honor to he who deserves to be honored. Right?
Not in this case.
Be seeing you, Constable. Grace! Here, Gracie. My sweetheart.
It's the butler.
Where are you?
Hey, Alfred, how are you?
Mr. Inch.
Mr. Inch. There you are. I am so sorry. Baroness von Trebitz was a good heart.
Look at his face.
She did so much for the museum.
As you say, sir.
And you? Are you leaving so soon?
I'd like to go back to my hotel. These last days have been such a strain.
First, you sneak into the museum without greeting me, and then you want to leave just as quickly?
I didn't want to disturb you, and we'll have time enough tonight.
Yes, you simply must come tonight. I wanted to present Baroness von Trebitz with a medal. Now you'll have to accept it.
The butler?
Of course.
Really?
If
All
you
right.
insist, sir.
Okay.
The Baroness paid for all this. Without her, there wouldn't have been an exhibition or a gala.
She was very generous.
Yes, she was.
If you'll excuse me now. Constable Zellner, I want to thank you again for all you've done. You saved me, you could say.
My pleasure.
Well, thank
See
you.
tonight.
I appreciate that. I'm getting no love from anybody else around here. So are we inside the museum now? Continue on our mighty quest to catch the real thief. Miss Miller is around. Okay, this is a good stopping point. We found ourselves captured. We defeated the first bad guy, perhaps, at least for the moment. We discovered or were reminded once again that Inspector Legrand is an idiot. Complete idiot. Or he's hiding something, or he needs a shrink. Or all of those things together in one package of angry, angry man. That's okay. That's alright. We will pick this back up right here inside the Cairo Museum. We will talk to Miss Miller next time. I am Mistled. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Thank you.